here, and I'm so excited.
good to see
Oh,
you.
what a sweet, fluffy guy you are.
Classroom control and learning efficiency are products of good teaching.
For the life they must live in a dynamic and rapidly changing democracy.
Hey, so my name's Angela Brewer. I am a Denton girl. Wasn't born here. I was born in Dallas. We moved around a lot when I was a kid, but we got here when I was in the 6th grade and settled down here. So it's my hometown, Denton, Texas. I love it. I've been in and out throughout my adult life. Went away to Washington, D.C. after UNT, came back for grad school, went away to Haiti where I have a dear husband he's from Haiti, and so I went there with him for a few years, and then we had a kid, and I was like, well, if we're raising a kid, we have to raise our kid in Denton. So we came back to Denton about 7 years ago, and 8 years ago now, and I'm so glad to be back in town. I am a adjunct professor at the University of North Texas. It's my alma mater twice over, so I did undergrad with political science there, and then my master's degree in communication there. I did a second master's degree in education, so I have a lot of learning in the classroom, and I really love classrooms. It's one of my favorite spaces to be in. I think they're exciting spaces where we get to share ideas and build community and really collaborate around creating knowledge together. So I am excited to be running for mayor of Denton. It's a dream that I had since I was a little kid, back when I was 12 years old. I remember exactly when it was because it was the summer I broke my arm. And about a week after I got my cast off, I met Mayor Ray Stevens over at the Wyatt's Cafeteria on University. There's a Chinese buffet there now, but it used to be the Wyatt's Cafeteria. And Mayor Stevens shook my hand, and I thought that was so cool. And then I realized how hard he was squeezing my recently recovered arm. So it really stuck in my memory as to when that happened. So when I was 12, I was like, ooh, being mayor would be amazing. I love Denton, and being mayor of Denton would be a really cool opportunity, really a neat way to give back to the community. So that dream is finally coming to fruition for me from when I was 12 years old, to get to run for mayor of my hometown. And really glad to be in this race, glad to be out meeting folks, talking to people in Denton. It's my favorite thing about Denton is all the amazing neighbors we have here. So it's really cool to get into a race where I can just be out talking to folks. It's nonpartisan, so we don't have those weird labels that make people look at you side-eyed a little bit. We're able to really engage conversation with everyone without those labels getting in our way. We can just be neighbors together in Denton, thinking and talking and planning for a community that we really care about and love.
Now take this.
It's a good thing I caught you. I'll make an example out of you.
So I was really interested in the mayor's race in 2026 because I think Denton is in a transformative point in our history. We need a particular kind of leadership right now, and I know that over the course of my professional life, and really my young life here in Denton in middle school and high school, I have built the skill set that we need to lead us forward in this transformational moment. I spent my time in middle school and high school volunteering in the community, learning that service is first when you want to be a good neighbor. We're here outside of Emily Fowler Public Library. This is actually one of my favorite volunteer spots from when I was in high school. I worked in the children's program here. We got to dress up in those like full body animal suits where we put on the big head and we do a reading for the kids, and then we get to go hug all the kids, and there'd be 20 or 30 kids piled in. We do puppet shows in here. It was really amazing. I really learned service when I was young, and I also learned about activism when I was young. We came to Denton because my mom worked at Flo Memorial Hospital. She was recruited to do prenatal care and childbirth for women without insurance. And not too long after we came, the county actually voted to shut down the hospital. And so over the next few years after Flow shut down, I saw my mom and a group of really dedicated folks here in Denton work hard to build healthcare access, particularly for pregnant women without insurance. And I really saw the power of community coming together to solve problems. So I think that right now in 2026, we've got a big problem, potential problem looming for us if we don't handle it well. And that has to do with our growth. So in the next 15 years, we're gonna double in size. If we are not being intentional about the way we do that growth, we're going to get swallowed and we're going to become just another cookie cutter suburb. And I do not want Denton to become a cookie cutter suburb. I love this town. I want to raise my kid in this creative, interesting space where we see community come together, where we see folks work hard for one another, where we just see care and concern out on our city streets, and people really being in community together. That's the place that I want to continue living. That's the town that I want to preserve. And now this election cycle in 2026, not just for mayor, but for the whole city council, I think is a really critical moment for our town. So it really has come a sort of a confluence of the skill sets that I learned as a young person in Denton, combined with the skill sets I've built in my professional life as an educator, where I do a lot of team building and collaboration and goal setting and problem solving, really by bringing people together in community in a classroom. Those skill sets coming together at this moment when we most need it in Denton is what motivated me to get into the race for mayor in 2026. Like I said, it's been a dream for a long, long time. Now it seems almost like a responsibility more than a dream, that I've got some skills and talents to bring to the table. And I think I owe it to this community that really helped build who I am to give those skills and talents back in a time when we need it most. Top 3 things. Okay. So in the top 3 of what we really have to be looking forward to in Denton, first on my block, if I had to rank one first, is going to be issues around affordability. We are in a situation in our community, it really stretches nationwide, but we are feeling it here in Denton on affordability. I have a family where we do this every day at our house, figuring out how to make ends meet, figuring out how to make sure the paychecks go far enough to cover all of the bills. And I know that so many families in Denton, almost every family in Denton, is really struggling with that right now. I really want to make sure as we grow as a community that we are saving space and creating affordable space for the people who make $40,000 a year, who make $30,000 a year, that we have attainability in our community for everyone. I really hate that sometimes our city employees and our teachers and our first responders are having to leave Denton, right? They come here and work every day and serve our community, folks in the service industry and in retail. They're serving the people of Denton, and it's gotten to the point where they can't even afford to live here anymore. They're being priced out of housing, they're being priced out of not having available transportation, so you have to have a car to get around, and cars are expensive. It's a place we save money at my house. We're a one-car family, and we have to, do a little bit of work to balance that out. But it makes such a difference in our budget to only have one car that we have to do that. And so, if we can create a community where folks don't have to be dependent upon owning a car, where they're in $500 a month between the gas and the car payment and the insurance, that we can really bring some more affordability to our community. And then obviously looking at housing, our housing supply, what kinds of housing is being built, how to balance that well between the housing we need for the folks who are moving into our community and the housing we need for folks who already exist in our community. Right now, I think our city has been pretty focused on developing for those who are coming, but I want to really make sure we're thinking hard about the folks who are already here, and how do we make sure that we have affordable housing going in, or maintaining the affordable housing that does exist right now, to keep our folks in town, to make sure that Denton's a place where any type of family income can be managed and used. So thinking about affordability is priority number 1. Number two, and it's maybe 1.5, it's very close to number one, is really preserving the culture and the community that we have in Denton. I love this town. I love the vibe of this town. I love how quirky and unique and creative we are. It pains me to think that we might end up being a cookie cutter suburb like our neighbors over to the east. I desperately want to save the great things about Denton. I also think we have some gaps, though, that everything that's great about Denton isn't completely inclusive. And so I would love us to, on that creativity front, think more about diversifying creativity. So making sure we have things like space for Black creators and Latino creators to make their art and be creative in our community and have places to celebrate that, and that all of these folks are included in that creative, kind of quirky spirit we have in Denton. I also am really interested in expanding family fun. That as much as I have a good time in Denton, Texas, it really has been harder with a kid finding fun and affordable things to do as a family. And so I really want to see some cultural growth. I think those are some of the gaps we have in our local culture, is really thinking about family fun and how can we do more, maybe with city parks and rec programs, or things like our Halloween celebration or our Christmas celebration, to make it more family friendly or have more inclusiveness for families. So one of the ways I think we need to work toward that is becoming a very invitational community, not just talking about diversity as a concept and not just saying, oh, we're a welcoming community, because I think Denton is very welcoming. We've got our arms open to anyone who wants to come in. I think we need to be more proactive than that. I think we need to be invitational. Invitation goes beyond welcome, right? Welcome is, if you want to come in, we're happy to have you. Invitation is more about going and seeking people out. So there are tons of folks who live in our community who never join in the activities that are a part of our city life. And I would really love to see that change, to make sure that we're being open and invitational to everyone in our community, that we're out there getting folks to come in and be a part of this really cool space and this really cool group of folks that we live around. So I really want to make sure that invitation is there, and that Denton is a welcoming, not just welcoming, but invitational and proactive in inviting people in our diversity. On the third issue, I really have some concerns around the environment and sustainability as we grow. We're sitting here not just by the Emily Fowler Library, but also by this creek that runs through the park. And before we started visiting today, I was just kind of watching the ducks swim in the creek and thinking about kind of my childhood when we go down there and play in it, and the times that I brought my kid and his friends out to play in that creek, and looking at the erosion and looking at this giant tree right next to us and thinking, wow, how many years does that tree have left before the erosion takes it out, right? And it's a big, beautiful, old tree. And so I really want us to get very detail-oriented and thoughtful about the way we're designing our city as we move forward, thinking about things like drainage and the way water flows through our city, thinking about the ways we can use creeks like this to build trail systems, like the project the city's now working on over at Hickory Creek, thinking about how we can really capitalize on Clear Creek, because Clear Creek is such an incredible, valuable resource for our community. It's a little treasure over there. And I really want us to capitalize on that by maybe thinking about wildlife refuge, or how do we start thinking about the way our development is changing habitats and ecosystems that we can remedy in some ways when we're causing an upheaval in the local space or in the ecological space. How can we then take action to answer that? So we really have to focus on sustainability as we grow, and making sure that what we're doing in our human action is working in concert with what our environment needs, instead of working against it.
Working in small groups and in large groups, and learning to get along in school the best possible way that we can.
The teacher is indeed the key to an effective middle school.
So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Angela for Denton. And I also have a website under construction right now, but there is a landing page, angelafordenton.com. And you can put your email address in there, and then you'll get a weekly update from the campaign about kind of what we're doing this next week. If you want to pencil in activities that we're doing, you want to come to an event. Certainly if you want to volunteer and help me get elected, I'm trying to run this campaign on a smaller budget than people usually expect. I'm not hiring consultants and campaign managers and all of that. I've got a couple of hardworking communication interns from UND, and we're going to put together kind of an old-fashioned campaign. So we need tons of help to come in and support that. I'm super interested in having people host parties at their house or in your front yard to invite your neighbors and say, hey, here's a person running for mayor, you want to come meet her? And yeah, so those are all the ways you can get in touch for sure. I also would love to give my phone number if that's cool. So my phone number is 940-595-3449. Feel free to text me or call me anytime. Not anytime. I sleep at night, so not at night, but anytime during the daylight hours, I would be happy to get a text message from you or a phone call with your ideas and thoughts, your questions, your concerns about Denton and where we're going. So reach out. I'm not kidding when, I kind of bring a communication professor thing to this. I think it's all about the communication. That's how we build teams. That's how we build community, is through building relationships. So my goal is to really build as many relationships as I can over the next 5 months. And hopefully we turn that into a really amazing opportunity for a new style of leadership in our mayor's office.
Now a word from our 515,000 sponsors.
The antiques are comic books, Superman, Batman, Captain Marvel. And the proprietor is George Henderson, or as he's better known, Captain George.
I've been in business 4.5 years, and when I came into the business, the fad, or what you want to call it, was at its peak, but it's been going, I would say, since about 1951. But it was underground then. Now it's above ground. The people aren't embarrassed anymore about admitting that they collect comic books.
Oscar.